gotta go for all we know. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building them castles.
Hey, how's it going, universe? Welcome to another episode of Zoobox, a podcast about nonsense, and everybody is here. The whole crew is here. The whole crew is here.
The whole crew.
Crew's here. Just so you know, Dan, at some point you're going to want to shift your camera a little bit back because you're going to be cutting yourself off.
I just want to get my new art,
That's right. What's this? We got some new. Well, listen, we got a couple updates here on the desk. We've become a Beam man. Good move.
Well, right behind that's Jameson. I'm still Irish fag. Don't forget, listen, I have to give a shout out early in the show. I don't do it enough. I don't do it early enough. Let's talk about ASCsupplements.com. ZB20 for 20% off. Sicario, look at this packaging. This is made in China packaging, high quality stuff. The Uyghurs probably made this, but
so if you want to make their sacrifice worth it.
Listen, if you support Disney, if you support Amazon, Apple, all I can say, we've already have blood on our hands. Might as well keep going.
Yeah, it's called Empire. It's Empire, baby.
Imperialism. Let's do it. But I don't know if that's a real thing. Let me just whatever. But there's something that I thought it was really great about my friend. Did me a big favor. I'm not going to talk about this publicly because it's a crack deal. Lots of dicks have to be sucked. Lots of things need to be edited, and I'm willing to do the work. But
I can't even get a sample of these supplements. I can't even on my own show. I can't even get a sample, and this guy comes up big dick swinging. He says, "Dan, you think you got to put together? Look what I just do for you on a whim." He basically big dogged you.
Yeah,
I mean, he big dogged you. He said, "Let's throw our debit cards on the fucking table and let's fucking dance."
I will say this gladly that he won. I will say this gladly.
But at the end of the day, though, it's really the friends we made along the way.
Yeah,
it's the gist.
He's been really big supporter of mine and the podcast. And listen, do us a favor. It's a hard time for everybody. He's going through some personal stuff. Go to ASCsupplements.com or NutriCartel.com and use ZB20 for 20% off. And you know what? If you're thinking about losing weight, might as well spend money, right? That's what we do as Americans.
I wish I could say I'm living proof. I really do.
Okay.
I really wish I could say that. But you know what? It's just for me. It's just called putting down the fork. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But just think how much more svelte I would be. Think how much thinner I would be right now already. A lot of progress made. Okay. I got to pat myself on the back. I've done a good job. But let me tell you something. I could have done even a better job.
Well,
I could have even done a better job.
I think you're right. And,
I'm joking. I'm joking, by the way. This is all in good fun.
Well, honestly, no, fuck him. He should. We're sponsors, I'm just going to tell you guys right now, there's nothing in here, okay? This is empty.
It's been gone for 6 years, actually.
I've used it all. I actually really do like his products, Sicario, La Bamba, different flavors, limited edition just came out.
I did actually use their stuff when it first came out. Dan dropped off or gave our brother Ryan one, and then Ryan didn't use it, so I just used it when I was going to the gym, and it definitely will brings up the body temp, gives you a good little boost. I can speak to that. I can say that. And what's this? Okay, we got a new piece of artwork for the desk.
I thought it was very... So after I learned about ostrich parasitic syndrome, I was just looking at art, and this really spoke to me. And it's called March of the Fools. I'll get you the title after. So, hey, go to YouTube. Go to subscribe. Go fucking, go punch the like button for us, please. We need more subscribers. We're growing faster than we've done all year. And we're coming up on our year mark. So come subscribe. Come do it out. And here we go. So this is called March of the Fools. Super. I'm trying to do it. Let me move my...
I don't think it's going to work.
Oh, my. How's this?
I mean, you could actually see it better just back where it was.
Well, how does this look? Can you see? You're getting it?
Yeah.
March of the Fools, and I think it's a beautiful piece. I'm an art collector.
You kind of now you kind of are, dude. This is what happens when you start, when you have money
Listen,
Like, you
there's a
just start
limited,
you're like, I'm a cultured person. I'm a cool guy. Like, listen, I
but
buy
there's a
things like,
limited edition of something. Okay, that means it's rare, Shaun. I don't know if you're not an art connoisseur like me. They're rare, and so that's important to make sure that you take that in stride. So
something called limited prints. I don't know if you've
yeah,
heard of it.
but no, I actually really like the picture. It's the March of the Fools. You know, let's name the podcast the March of the Fools. I think that's pretty relevant to what's going on in today's society. It's made by what's his fucking name, dude? Oh my god, I cannot say this dude's name. He's German. Or no, my bad. Oliver Ryan. Hello. Welcome. I found it. But Oliver Ryan, I like your work. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't be a slave to the system. And it's just a beautiful piece. It really is. And there's like these characters trying to balance a giant dunce hat off this dude's head as they're walking. And in the background, there's this there's just all over the place. It's just really interesting, and I really enjoyed the imagery.
It's very
But
nice.
anyway.
It's a nice. See, when you get like a house or something, like something you can like put over the couch or the mantle.
No, I'm going full JP. There will, you will not be
you're
able
just
to
gonna have like a wall to wall
Yes.
propaganda and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm waiting for
You gonna get any
Antifa.
witch
I wanna get
doctor
some-
masks?
maybe not that far, but I'm thinking Antifa posters, you know, stuff like that. Like get some limited edition prints of the Antifa posters when they come out, washing the blood of Republicans. I'm super excited.
Do they have like official? I mean, I know people probably on like Etsy and things like that make their own like Antifa stuff.
I don't know. I've never seen any official.
I mean,
like, stuff.
my wife has like a provocative T-shirt, Dan. It's
yeah.
it's a Molotov cocktail on fire, like a hand holding it, and then it says "Toast the Rich."
Yeah, that's yeah. You might need to divorce her. She's not an American.
I was like, whenever I see that, I'm like, you are one of these people. Like, she's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, yes, you are. You're Antifa. I said Antifa.
Yeah, but like, what happened?
I've been sleeping in the guest room for the 2 months.
Do you think that if she never would have met you, stayed up there, and would have stayed with her like current friend group in the system?
I don't want to speak out of school on the podcast about her life. So you know what? One day, maybe I'll interview her if she's willing to talk about it. I will totally. There are stories to tell about that stuff that actually might be interesting to our audience and to what we're talking about, like in terms of how you get involved in certain organizations.
No, what do we call it is? So how to de-radicalize a leftist woman is you get her pregnant, you move her to the South.
We listen. It was just the D. It had really nothing to do with pregnancy until we didn't have Foster until 5 years into our relationship.
I know. Yeah.
Foster's premeditated. He's not like an accident. You know, I love my son. He's not somebody I have to look at and be like, oh, why? If it wasn't for you, my life would be so much better.
The mistake.
Whatever happened?
I used to be free. Like, that's kind of how I feel right now. You know, I think that's kind of how I feel about a lot of this stuff. I love my freedom at this moment. And when I talk to my friends that have kids, I'm like, not right now. You know, like, not right now. Just not right now. It's not saying never, but I'm not that nihilist and be like, oh, I'll never have children in this barren world full of hatred.
No, I think it's a weird thing where it's hard to describe the experience until it's just happened. Like, you don't really know what to expect or how you're going to feel personally. For me, it just changed my purview. Like, it just gave me this different impetus for what life meant. And it made me think of things differently. But before that, I don't know. I came to a point where I was ready for it. Like, I needed it in my life. Yeah. For lack of a better way to put it, I was ready to do it. Like, I was definitely...
How did that conversation go? Like, how did like the discussion of having a child, how does that come up? Like, was this like, you want to do it? Like,
cool, because we talked about it, and when we got married, even when we got together, I was just like, well, like when I'm 30. And that's when Sarah got pregnant, when I was 30.
So that's, on your time, not hers. I like it.
We talked about it, and we're like, I was probably more apprehensive because I tend to be like way too practical, and I think of all the things that could go wrong, all the variables, yada, yada, yada. It makes you anxious about things. But And then we're just like, okay, all right, well, I guess this is the time. Like, we're getting older. We don't want to be like 60-year-olds when our kids graduating from high school. We want to be right there in like the middle, that sweet spot where we've kind of matured enough, and we're old. We're a little bit older, but we're not too old.
Do you know the statistics on having children on after 30?
I know it goes down. Yeah.
No,
Chance for
Shaun, stop.
What?
I'm not talking about what you're talking about. So
Okay.
what I'm talking about, if you have a kid after 30, you have a 90% chance it's going to be a commie.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say they'd become Antifa.
Yeah, like this is the Antifa generation raised by a bunch of people who, not saying like obviously literally you or anything, but I mean in general, it seems like these are people who had kids later in life, and
yeah, but these are
they had
are,
hear me out.
Okay.
They had kids later in life, and they could facilitate sending them to college and buying them because they had the institutional power and money to be able to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
And these kids, squander it.
Yeah, but it's kind of I understand what you mean, but I do think like they were responsible in the sense that they had a kid at a time where they could actually like provide and facilitate and do all that stuff, like you said, send them to college and whatnot. Like, I don't know if that's the parents' fault that their kid goes. I mean, it's the parents' fault in the sense you could say that, like, well, if their parents are not really on top of what's going on culturally and not really paying attention to things and teaching your kids how to critically think, like, their mistakes as parents are not like sending them to college. Their mistakes as parents are way before that's even a thing. Because a lot of these people are professionals. A lot of like both spouses will probably work a lot of times. They're maybe not the most heavily involved in some of the education of their kids when they're younger. Who their kids' friends are, like just talking to you, having open discourse with your kids is important. And I'm not. I mean, this is obviously making an assumption, but I knew people that were like that. Like I knew plenty of my friends that were more middle class, even before our parents like were middle class for like 5-year period. Like even before that, like I knew a bunch of people, and their parents were not like non-entities, and we would go over their house because we could do whatever the fuck we wanted.
Hence why our house was the hangout house.
Well, no, you could still get in trouble at our house.
These
places you could not get in trouble. Yeah. In fact, it would be endorsed.
Out of my friend group, it was at least the safest place to do fuckery. Like it was the safest place.
Yeah, there's a generational difference between when I was.
No, yeah, not when you were. Yeah, not you. No,
that's for factors because their parents were older.
Dad wasn't around a lot when I was.
Dad wasn't around because of financial things and trying to as our parents moved from north to the south and closing a business. So there's all these different factors that went in. So that definitely facilitated more of do whatever house, right? Like.
Yeah, there was just it was more lackadaisical. There was a little bit laissez-faire.
No monitoring of any sort. Like nobody was paying attention when the adult goes to bed at 7:30.
Yeah,
it is out until 5 a.m. at least. Like you can do whatever you want.
There's definitely, and I definitely took advantage of that situation, which I think most young people would.
Normal.
But. My room was the fuck palace, dude. The pussy palace. That's just what it was. And 9 people lost their virginity in my room, and I only had taken 1 in there. So a lot of fucking going on.
Not me, but a lot of people, a lot of individuals.
Yeah. Well, I took 1 person's virginity. I'm saying specifically virginities. I don't know how many legitimately virginities. And it's interesting, And I really honestly. I think that freedom, that small amount of freedom, I didn't get. I mean, I definitely got a way longer leash than you, in a sense. But there was also mom, freaking, I love mom, but me and her were very, contentious. There was a lot of tension and yelling and.
Which is a normal thing because I just had that with dad and you had it with mom.
I had it with dad too.
If he was around, yeah. But I mean, I got grounded all the time when I was a kid. I was really actually grounded, not in trouble just for the night or whatever. I couldn't go out.
Turned out great.
I couldn't go out and do things for a weeks at a time when I was 15.
Yeah, Yeah.
So
yeah.
that was, I actually had that kind of stuff, and maybe in some ways it definitely instilled in me this concept of repercussion. Like I was always very aware of it. So if I was going to do something bad, it would have to be worth it.
And not just worth it, but almost foolproof. There had to be. Not, it just,
No, a lot of times I knew I'd get caught. Like, because there is at some point, if you're going to go out and like drink with your buddies at a campfire when you're like 15, they're either going to acknowledge it or they're going to ignore it and let you get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it was like 50-50, depending on their mood.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I would be like, okay, well, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. Like going and having fun with my friends and pouring gasoline on stream brooks and setting them on fire. Like that was worth it to me. You know?
Yeah. And young men do what young men do.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think the structure and discipline side of it can be good. And I think we could all admit that every parent makes some sort of calculated errors in their raising of children, or miscalculations, I guess you could say. But I don't know.
Like calculated errors in the sense where you thought what you were doing was going to be effective. It's not.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think it's just like, as you know, I am happy that I had a kid older because I have more of I'm a little bit more chilled out. I'm still a little high strung sometimes, but like, I definitely have a wider perspective on what it means to deal with a kid in not a reactionary way.
Sure.
Like trying to remember, having more perspective in the sense like, well, this person's this age. And the same thing I try to keep in mind when I talk to younger people in general anyways. I'm just like, well,
right.
I got to remember where I was when I was 20-something years old, like, and what I would have said or cared about. Like,
it's also your age, though. Like, your age, raising like, being at your age, our parents had kids very young.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
There's a million things. Listen, let's stop talking about family, okay? Let's move on to some more important shit. So,
Talking about myself.
Today is 9/11. It was a pretty big day in our nation's history. Probably.
Yeah, it's Brian De Palma's birthday, everybody.
Well, that's definitely another. I don't know who that is. I don't think, but
director Brian De Palma. It's his birthday, everybody. I don't know why every year we celebrate it or we talk about it. It's very weird.
But it's one of those things. You know, I reflected a little bit today. I had a friend call me, civilian friend or non-veteran status, and she called me and we cried a little bit about it. It was like really emotional little moment. Like it's actually like reflecting on the importance of that moment in our history. And I went back and watched some of the old footage, and you're seeing people, jumping from buildings because they don't want to be alive. And there's like this one famous image of a woman jumping, and the only thing she's trying to hold down her skirt.
I know.
I know. You're like, holy fuck, man!
Just like those weird instincts that just kick in.
Well,
like
I don't. Instinctually, I don't know if she was practically thinking about it, but it absolutely subconsciously or.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just her instincts took over and be like, oh, I got to keep my skirt down.
Yeah,
even though she's jumping to her death.
Because I think it really says like I want to die with some dignity and some self-respect, and like I think whether or not it's instinctual, that has to be somewhere in the psyche. That's really what it's about.
No, it is. It's of course, it's a modesty thing that just triggers. Like like I said, instinctually, like you're just like, I need to not expose myself or whatever.
Right.
And even in that moment, that is such a powerful like kind of thing that overrides like what's happening.
Well, I mean, if you really think about it, this is where everything really started for our nation. I think is the modern sense. That was kind of the opening of the millennium, and this really.
Oh, it's a huge paradigm shift. It changed everything. It changed so much about culture. It changed things about direction as a country, our government policies. I mean. Honestly, it's kind of the dark chapter. It starts one of the darker chapters of American history in terms of our lifetime, right?
Yeah, well, I would even say, because like, you start breaking it down and, I've been doing a lot more historical research, and like Donald Trump is the first president in 39 years to not engage in a new conflict and be invaded a new country. And he's out there talking about the military industrial complex, how like all these elite generals, these higher up generals are mad at him because he's hurting their pockets when they get out. Because all these defense contractors, because what these guys do that work up at the Pentagon, they work there, then they retire from there, but they're the ones who built policy, like understand all the back doors and like everything, and like who to talk to and who can be pressed and who can't. and so on and so forth. So they go out and work for these defense contracting companies like Lockheed Martin and Boeing and all these other, varying degrees of companies. And how the hell is this okay? Like, it really bothers me. It really bothers me that a 4-star, 3-star general who wrote policy, instituted policy for the military, can then get out and then go take advantage of said policy within a few months.
It's completely disgusting, and it really goes to this notion of it's the war. Whoa! Just had a
fucking goddamn, man! They came for me, man. They heard about it.
Yeah, they heard him talking. And they're like, this guy's saying too much.
My art attacked me. Lovecraft country or something?
No, it's the I don't know, it's the war. It's
go to YouTube to see it. Go to YouTube.
Hot picture falling action. But it's the war economy. It's not just the military industrial complex. It goes beyond that. Because it goes beyond the military. It's all, I mean, I guess you could broadly say that it's all part of the same thing. So when people say the military industrial complex, they're actually talking about things like you just said, like generals getting out, or people that like were involved in writing legislation and they get out and then they go make deals in private businesses to
it's the same thing
to make war shit. And like,
it's even like in the politics where you can go out and then become a lobbyist for
I know
Congress. It's wild. And I think this is really what we're talking about. And because what we saw, I can't remember where it all started. Like basically Vietnam. Ever since Vietnam, we have never really been truly out of conflict or out of some sort of engagement with people. I was about to get too towered again. I don't want this to happen to me. But there's definitely something to be said about this in the deep state, this conspiracy theory level stuff. But I don't think the deep state is as like sinister Hollywood-isms like that. I don't think it's that nefarious in that sense where there's like, some fucking lizard people in the deep state. And
no, but it's these outside factors, these outside contributors and wealthy business people and whatnot, lobbyist companies that they actually use as kind of like middlemen. Those are the things when you talk about the deep state, because you're just talking about these outside things that are outside of our democracy that actually have an undue amount of influence and control over it.
Well, they're like legit career.
Yes.
They're like career people that have been in it for 30, 40 years. Like John Bolton is a prime example of someone who
I know.
Has,
oh my God, it's the banality of evil. Like a guy like that looks like John Bolton, he looks like a Muppet, is one of the most evil fucking people that's ever been involved in U.S. politics in our lifetime.
Oh yeah. And the thing is, like, I really don't understand Trump's decision. Did Trump not just know who he was? Was he not
he was
like
trying to play ball?
Well, I think this is what happened. And
I want to be charitable.
Well, you got to think, Trump came into a really shitty foreign policy. Like, he came into dealing with a very shitty foreign policy.
Yeah.
Like, that's a fact. Like, he came in with a situation that was already, like, kind of, like, escalated to a point, And he I don't necessarily agree with, like, everything he's done. Like, maybe the mass drone strikes, but you're fighting terrorists. They're not people. I'm kidding.
Well, he gave an interview the other day where he said he specifically talked about. He's like, we went in there and we eradicated the threat, and then I wanted to pull out, and I got tons of heat for it.
Dude, what?
And
Hold on.
As much as like Trump is kind of a goon, like, but you're like, listen, do you really care about these things? These anti-war people. Do you really care about that?
They don't care. It makes them money. And the same thing with the news. It keeps, like, dead soldiers in the press, and they can sit there.
Well, that's what I'm talking. I'm talking about, like, the Kyle Kalinskis and the fucking Intercept. Dude. I mean, listen, you know who's one of the most straight shooters out of all of those people? Glenn Greenwald. I don't agree with Glenn Greenwald on a lot, but he's, the guy who broke the Julian Assange, or not the Julian Assange, what's his name? Snowden. And he's also covered extensively Julian Assange and yada, yada, yada. And he actually broke stuff, WikiLeaks stuff. He broke some of the information. He's a pretty straight shooter when it comes to that, because even he'll be like, yeah, well, Trump's like foreign policy, while not perfect, is a leaps and bounds better than what we've gotten in the past 16 years before that.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's even like Trump is so fucking wild, man. He was giving a speech yesterday or today, and he goes, hey, Like, we're still in Syria. We're only there to protect the oil. That's literally what he's out loud. He goes, yeah, we're there to protect the oil. But he's at least upfront about it. He's not like Obama, who, like, puts people in, what's it called? Hypnotizes people with his, like, words. And, Donald Trump's like, a fucking bull in the china shop, Well,
but I don't even, when he brings that stuff up, I don't think he's saying it as if it's a positive thing. No,
he's not.
He's saying it as in, like, this is a problem. Like, why are we so invested in these interests? Like, who's really doing this stuff? Granted, you can only be so upfront about that stuff, and I don't know if that's red meat for those middle tier people, those people that care about that kind of stuff, and that's how they vote. That is a little bit of when he's talking about that stuff during a campaign season. That's a little red meat for the Tim Pools, for centrist people like myself that might be more concerned with foreign policy. That's a little red meat for us because we're just like, okay.
Well, it's more than just, we're seeing. So today and recently, so a week ago, a Norwegian nominated Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Then today, a Swedish government member submitted his name for the Nobel Peace Prize. And then do you know what the fuck Atlantic comes out with this evening? A case to get rid of the Nobel Peace Prize. And you're like,
I did see that. Yeah.
What the hell?
It doesn't really. I skimmed some of it. It was just like, it doesn't really even matter. It doesn't even mean anything anymore. It's like, motherfucker. However you feel about Barack Obama, when they gave Barack Obama a Nobel Peace Prize for being a peace president.
Yeah, my ass.
As he's fucking bombing the Middle East back into the Stone Ages and creating tons of problems and conflict and reasons to stay there.
Yeah. There's definitely something going on with the war machine. There is something that is, and is the war machine like? I'm just saying that when they did that, that is when that was like, what the fuck? He hasn't even done any. He got the prize because he was a black guy that got nominated for president. That's essentially what they gave him that for. There's only
he hasn't accomplished anything yet. If 4 or 5 years into his presidency, into his second term or whatever, they wanted to give him that for, even if it was for something I disagreed with, like the ACA or whatever, then okay. But that's not what happened.
There is one downside to being in a peaceful time, and I will admit this because I've lived it. Okay, during peacetime, the military is insufferable. It's one of and because they have nothing better to do, nothing real. There's no serious. They just nitpick everything. But that's why people used to love getting deployed, at least from my base, because when I was in Wyoming, F.E. Warren, and you just be like, fuck yeah, get the hell out of here. I don't have to deal with these motherfuckers. Like, and they would be like, you're more lax standards. Everything's a little bit chiller. But what you are doing, and it's a fact, is that you kind of lose your hardened war fighters because there's none left, and then it'll be a lot of
course.
Like it does as far as military readiness. I don't know how much of an effect it has because technology is taking such a major place in the military future. But it really does say, like, you're not going to see Medal of Honor recipients. You're not going to see guys you're just not going to see these dudes who are fucking serious business. Like you send these dudes in, they can handle any situation you throw at them.
Yeah, you ever see the movie? You ever see the Predator?
Yeah,
just like that, dude.
The new one?
Not the new one. Shut up. Fucking gross, motherfucker. No, I know what you mean, but I do. But does that justify continuing wars?
No. You're missing my point. I'm just saying, like, there is a subtle. Like,
of course, there's pros and cons to everything, and I imagine if you're in the military during peacetime, it's probably really tedious. Like you said, it's annoying. They have because there's nothing else to work towards. There's not.
Well, it's not
thing.
Even that. It's just that
there's not this thing that's more important than making sure the floor is swept. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just you're just like just the mission is the only thing that matters to the military, and if you take away their mission, a mission, and a thing to train for. There's not a lot of incentive to be ready and efficient. Like there's just not. It's not. Yeah. It's a famous saying from the army during post Vietnam. You saw a lot. Basically, almost the same thing. What we were seeing today is that they used to say, love being a soldier, hate being in the army. Like, it was a famous thing because the bureaucracy was just ridiculous. They had no motivation, no moral compass to really even like focus on an enemy. If you take away the like, I'm not saying that's a main reason why they do it, but it's something. Like, it plays some role. And like, even Mattis is out there, who's a globalist, who just got signed on some board of the board of directors for some major defense contractor.
Of course he did. Of course.
Yeah, but they're globalists. These guys have been educated to be globalists, and it's absolutely terrifying.
How's that fucking allowed? Like, he has intimate knowledge of the goddamn secrets of the military, like what's going on with the administration, what their long-term plans were. Of course he does.
Yeah, but like those things.
Oh, don't worry, I won't say a word. As he's sitting on the board of a fucking publicly owned company, probably.
He has certain things he can't say. There's classified stuff, and if he does get caught,
he can't say it.
No. I mean, I know, but like, if he ever did get caught, but then again, can you trust our intelligence agencies? I don't know.
So he's probably the guy who's out there telling people Trump wants 2 scoops of ice cream.
Yeah, I know. And do you know why Donald Trump eats processed foods like McDonald's more often? Do you know why?
Gotta keep the dump truck running, baby.
No, because it's food you can actually trust more.
Oh, shut up, Dan! Shut up.
No, that's what he says. He says like, I'm just saying that's what he says. That's his argument. I'm not saying that. He says it's like food that is actually, it has to be like technically higher standard to be made because it's mass production. So it's like they can't afford like to put out a bad batch versus like you go to your local mom and pop shop and like they mishandle something like in their store. It's a little bit higher chance of it being good. Whatever.
He was a billionaire before he was president, and now he's president of the United States. I feel like he can get people to make his food just for him.
No, I'm sure he does. He likes McDonald's, but that's what he says.
Man, what's wrong, man? He likes a Big Mac 2 or 3 times a day. Whatever.
Hey, he's still kicking.
French fries.
I mean, he's an American.
My favorite picture of him is when he's eating the Kentucky Fried Chicken on the plane.
No, my favorite one is him in front of the taco bowl going, "I love Hispanics." Like, that's like really what he said.
I know. That was when he was running for president. That was on the campaign trail, dude. That's when he was calling into InfoWars. He probably had Alex Jones on speakerphone as that picture was being taken.
Probably. I watched
Mr. Trump.
Actually, there's this it's called Learn Something on YouTube. It's actually pretty cool, and the guy does like an hour and 20-minute breakdown of like every single step from the beginning, like not just focusing on Trump. It obviously leads to that because he becomes like, the candidate. He is one of the main focuses, but he focuses on Ted Cruz and Rand Paul and kind of goes through like the whole dog and pony show. Yeah. And you're like sitting there, you're going like, it really is nuts he won. Like, it really is. And it all comes down to, because in the beginning of Trump's presidential run, everyone was laughing out of the room, but it wasn't necessarily CNN, MSNBC, and it wasn't the left-wing media. It was Fox. Fox was the main attack on Trump. They did not like him.
The other networks, the reason why they didn't go ham on him is because apparently, like, according to some of the memos and the emails that were found in the Podesta leaks and whatnot, they actually wanted to elevate Trump on purpose because they wanted him to be the nomination because they thought Hillary would kick his ass. No questions asked. So basically, they gave him somewhere in the ballpark of like $2 billion.
No, $2 billion? $2 billion.
Yeah.
$2 billion of free advertising.
Free advertising. That you can't buy that. You couldn't get that. Dude, he used to call in to all of these shows. Morning Joe with Joe and Mika. He'd call in like every once a week. Talk to him.
And that's the thing is that, I think it was that kind of Trojan horse, in reverse. Like, it was this weird reversal of a Trojan.
I think it's one of these things that was like media arrogance and a confluence of events. Just like the stars aligned that year. Dude,
the charisma. Like, I've been going back and watching a lot of Reagan speeches, like Reagan during the debates, and because Reagan is very comparable to Reagan in '84, I believe, 80 or '84. I can't remember. One of them, he like was not supposed to win. He was a Hollywood guy, did some local politics. I think he was like a mayor of a city at one point or something. And he was really not supposed to win, and he ends up like winning in like a 49 state landslide. It was like this crazy thing. And Reagan was, oh my God, the the similarities between the charisma and how they really worked the crowd and how they could make people laugh, and like he was a funny freaking dude, but he was very serious. And then I was watching videos of Reagan versus like reporters, and Reagan's like in like the wherever the hell he's at, I don't know, and they're talking about the protests at that time, which were violent. They got violent. They you know, a lot of things happened, and he's sitting there. He smacks the table. He's like, boom. He's like, no, I will not let this happen in my country. These people need to follow the law while they get coddled by their damn parents. And you're like, oh shit, dog. He was the original Donald Trump. He was.
Yeah, no, a lot of people have always referred to Donald Trump as like Reagan-esque in some respects. I think it is because of the bomb. It's the celebrity. It was the bombast.
Yeah.
Reagan was obviously, I think, more well-mannered and
for sure.
way more put together.
No, well, like the way he did cheap shots, like one of my favorite things he's done, and he's at a debate, and he's older. I think he was like in his late 60s at the time, and everyone just looked like shit back then. So I don't know. He was older for sure, and they go like, so, you know, with your age, do you really think, you know, that you would be able to handle the stresses of being the president and staying up for days on end and this and that? And because like, and he goes, well, I absolutely believe that my experience and my experience is way better than this younger guy. Like just shitting all over this dude, and the dude can't even help but laugh, and like everyone's laughing, everyone's like literally could barely breathe. It looked
He's
like a
like,
comedy.
you know, back in my day, we used to ride ponies and blow coke.
Yeah.
Fuck barmaids. That's what I did. I was Hollywood. I was big dicking. Okay, you asking me? I used to hang out with Frank Sinatra, baby. You think I can't stay up all night?
Yeah, Frank Sinatra.
You think I can't stay up all night?
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra should have been president. That's if you ask me.
Oh man, jeez, he was an anti-Semite and hated blacks, so I don't know about that. But
What are you talking about? Sammy Davis Jr., one of his best friends.
yeah, okay,
These
Shaun.
lies. Haven't you ever seen the original Ocean's 11, sir?
Yeah, Shaun. That's called Operation Mockingbird.
I mean, I could totally 100% buy him being an anti-Semite.
I don't know.
But one of his best friends was Don Rickles. He's a little Jew.
Yeah, Shaun. Listen, they got to let a couple in to make you look. You know how it is. No, but I maybe I just made that up. I really don't know. But
oh my God, even the dead can't even rest with Dan out there on the prowl. He's like, no.
I've made the 9/11 jokes already on 9/11. Not very tasteful, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but people won't hear this until 9/12. So
it's true. It's true.
Hey.
That's true.
Hey.
It's true. But I don't know. I just sit there, dude. Hey. I just sit there and I've been going through like looking at all these old campaigns, and I will tell you this much: Reagan was an immaculate orator, and you know, he really was really good at drawing you in with his speeches. And there's a reason why a few of his speeches are so famous. And the military-industrial complex has been warned against since World War II, and that's really where it all started.
Eisenhower, the famous speech or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is still a haunting speech. Still to this day, that is a creepy speech.
Because it legit happened.
Well,
it happened.
I mean, I don't think nothing weird happened to Eisenhower, right? Because the only other person I know that literally said almost the same words was JFK. And then he gets capped.
Well, Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Reagan got shot at. They tried to assassinate Reagan twice.
I'm almost 100% positive it was. I'm pretty sure it was Eisenhower. He was a 5-star general. So to become a 5-star general, that means you supersede the president in command of the military forces.
Probably sucked on an endocrine gland of a child or two.
That will never happen again because of our technology. Back then, there needed to be someone in direct, like this is on the ground controlling shit.
Yeah.
And the president couldn't always make these decisions, so that's really one of the main reasons they did it.
That'd be sweet. Yeah, if we had a president that would get in a tank and head out to a war zone, that'd be pretty baller. I'm just saying.
I mean,
if there was somebody to do it, it would be DJ Trump. He'd be like,
Can you see him up there, dude, with like that little fucking old helmet with like the headset built in?
He's doing psychological warfare. He's got speakers on it. It's like fucking blasting out "Nasty Boys" by Janet Jackson.
Yeah, there you go. America is great. You will love democracy, and you will love each other. Yeah,
popping out of the tank, throwing
fireworks.
Yeah,
fireworks just shooting off the back.
Nasty Boys. He's like,
hey, no. I don't know, man. I think it's one of these things where we're gonna see how this election plays out. But I guess but kind of back to the 9/11 since we brought it up again. I just sit there and I'm like, dude, what is going on today? Like I guess it's kind of like this should. And I went on NFL Twitter, nothing about 9/11, nothing. Last night I don't believe. Don't quote me. Don't quote me. And listen, this was hours ago. I haven't checked in the past few minutes or like a couple hours, but usually it's like a morning thing. Even the NBA retweeted 9/11 memorial thing. And I went and checked and most of the major organizations did. But do you know who's fucking silent? LeBron James. They're hunting us down, dude. Where are all of our American people who give a shit about all these because you know what? It goes against the narrative. It goes against the narrative that police officers, all first responders, firefighters, EMTs died running into buildings that they didn't know were going to collapse. That's not the point. It's far beyond the point. Is that they were willing to go. While everyone else was screaming, running for their lives, trying to get home to their families, you had a couple thousand people running into these buildings. And it's absolutely where the fuck are all of our celebrities talking about Black Lives? And it's so frustrating because I'm sitting here, I'm like, this is the one day where you should say thank you to your first responders. If you want to go on, this is the one day. But no, you want to sit there on your ivory tower or your fucking palace king chair, and it fucking disgusts me.
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure, 100%. I don't it should be a time where you are reminded why those people and the people that do that work are so important, right? And it's just I don't know. I mean, normally I feel like it has been in the past.
Right, but
is it just this year that it's not? I mean, I honestly have not seen a ton of 9/11 stuff this year.
Listen, 9/11 is the epitome, and it completely disproves all this bull crap that we're hearing about police officers in the United States. It does. It does. Because you had guys that didn't care who was black, if you were white, if you were Asian, or whoever, didn't care what color, creed, religion.
Or if they did it didn't really matter because they went there to do their job. So it just doesn't matter.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Most police officers, 99.9% of police officers are running to those situations to do their jobs, throwing themselves in harm's way every single day, night, holding the long watch while everybody else gets to sleep comfortably in their beds. And yeah, you get dicks, you get people that are fucking our assholes, but at the end of the day, I don't care about that. I care about the fact that we have people out there that are willing to do the work that nobody wants to do in our society, dealing with some of the most dangerous and I guess you could say most dangerous or unfriendly circumstances. You got to think a cop gets into very personal relationships, like going to a domestic violence call or a rape call. There's a lot expected from them to be a psychologist, to be able to collect evidence properly, to be able to document things properly, to make sure that they catch the guy, that there's just so many things that could go down into one simple event. And if they don't do their jobs correctly, people could be really hurt. And that's why we should hold them accountable, but that's why we have qualified immunity. That's why we have cut them some slack. That's why we have police unions, because these cops are literally doing the one job that no one wants. And same thing with firefighters. Who the hell is signing up to go run into a burning building if you're a civilian? They're all running out. It's those guys that are running in. EMTs, dealing with drug guys, and fucking, you have a heart attack? Who are you calling? You're calling the EMTs. These guys are coming to your worst day of your life, most likely. And it's people are going to sit here and say, I get that we have black people have problems with what's going on in America. I respect that. I hear you. But
are you? I guess is your argument? Are you saying that it has overshadowed?
Absolutely.
The thoughts of 9/11 this year because of this stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, 100%. I mean, I guess you could say it's overshadowed everything. And
no,
this year,
but I go watch the fucking opening of the NFL night. Their ratings were fucking the 10-year low. People didn't want to watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know why that is. It could be just because of the weirdness. It could be so many different factors, but...
Oh, come on.
Oh, no, I'm not going to say that it's because I think that stuff was so stupid. It's so performative. It's such bullshit.
So the point, it's not genuine.
No,
It's not
I agree, but I don't know if that's why people didn't watch it, because you would have to tune in to know that happened.
Okay, for one, not true. We have social media. People decided to wait and see what the NFL was going to do, to see how they were going to handle it.
You know who did watch it? You know who did watch it?
I did, and I yeah, because
Mike,
look,
Ryan.
I went in there, I went in there with an open mind and saying, okay, can you do this tastefully? And was it distasteful? No. But on the eve of 9/11, you don't do a tribute to all the people that died. Why?
Yeah, that's weird. I agree with you that is like they could have also had the 9/11 thing as well, and I don't know why they didn't.
You know, Shaun, they took a moment of silence, and do you know what it was for? Not for 9/11, for racial inequality and racial injustice. And you're like, and the whole crowd, because there was dispersed people, like were allowed in the stadium. You had to come in like groups, like prior or something. You could like sit together. I don't really know how it worked. That's how it looked, and they all booed. It's on the eve of 9/11, dude.
I don't know if that's why those people were booing.
I don't. Okay, I'm not taught. I don't know either, but I'm saying like it's literally on the eve of 9/11, and you are going to put racial stuff before one of the greatest national tragedies in our lives.
Well,
lifetimes.
like if they had done it and did everything else as well, would you be happy? Like I don't understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Give
okay.
equal representation. Representation of the things that are going on.
I agree with you that
I want to say something.
They should have done, or maybe they should have. I guess I don't know.
I want to say I could have missed it. It could have been a very small thing, but either way, I could have missed it. It's possible. I'm human. I could have, been.
It's just the commentator being like, "Oh shit, Bill, tomorrow's 9/11. No way."
Yeah, but like it's just, and then I go on and like First Take this morning with like Ryan Clark talking about like all those people booed racial justice and this. I'm like, oh my god.
I mean, I think people read into it too much. I think people are just like, get on with it. Do we want to watch football? Like, shut the fuck up. Like that's what it is. Because people want to break.
Shaun, the Kansas City Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium. One of the most prime time, like heritage, tradition is the tomahawk chop, okay? They are asking people not to do it any longer. Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me? The Washington football team. That's their name now. The Washington football team.
Well, they got to get what's that guy's name? That Phillip dude. Phillips? You know, the brave Native American homeless guy that confronted that bastard fucking white kid?
Yeah.
You got Emu Phillips or whatever the hell his name is.
Oh, did you hear what happened to him?
No.
What ACLU, the director of the ACLU tried to do?
To who? Nick Sandman or the Phillips?
Yeah, Nick Sandman.
No, what did they try to say he was a Nazi? What?
No, so he got accepted to Tulsa.
Oh, Harvard.
Yeah.
No, I think it was Harvard.
No, it was Turney or I don't know the name of the institution.
Let's just say
college. Yeah, it's an upper it's definitely one of the upper echelons of higher institutions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good school. It's a good school. And so he gets on there and he's like, this university should be absolutely ashamed of themselves, like letting like an avowed like white supremacy, like just talking shit about this kid.
Insane.
And then one of the professors from that school says, I will keep a close eye on him and I will make documented reports on this student if he says anything out of line.
That guy should be fired.
Well, he obviously got called out and goes, I should have not singled out a student like this and that, like whatever, some half-ass apology.
Fucking shouldn't be done. Be like, dude, you're fired.
I'm saying this to Nick Sandman, bro. Why are you paying the people that hate you?
Oh, well, I don't know if that's everybody there, Dan. I mean,
go to community college, spend 1/10 of the money.
He can afford it now, buddy. He's fine now.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Oh, so I don't know if you saw what happened with Caitlin Bennett today up at UCF, University of Coastal Florida. Dude, it's an hour video.
I don't pay attention to these people.
I know you don't. And we all know she's like a troll or whatever. But no, she does prove, and people need to see this. Like, dude, do you remember that big video that happened maybe a year ago where she went on that campus and they all like mobbed her and chased her out of there? Do you remember that?
Yeah, no, I remember that, yeah.
It was like a fairly big story.
Yeah, people are stupid. They took the bait and then they fucking...
Well, she shows up and she's just walking around, couple people, you know how it goes, and then it's literally like hundreds of these kids, man, like, and they're like, put your fucking mask on, and the police guy comes up to her, he's like, hey, listen, we're gonna need you to put your mask on, and she's like, but they're all breaking the social distancing guidelines. Go tell them to do something. Why? Like you can't have more than 12 people in a group, and there's like a shit ton of them in, but like she's accosted, she's being yelled at, you know, typical ad hominem attacks and all this stuff. And the couple people that came up and like actually tried to have a conversation, they had a conversation. She was willing to have a conversation.
No, I know she does. I saw a video like months ago where she talks to people, and it's not that it's not content. She never escalates it because she's being smart. She will never escalate the conversation.
She'll talk shit. She'll do
no,
it.
only after provoked. She never says like, oh, you're a stupid bitch. Like she would never say that at first. She will later. She will later. I understand like what she's doing. I don't even think that she can't or shouldn't do that, because I think if you are stupid enough to go fucking talk to this girl, you're gonna be made to look like a fool. Like, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't think they don't edit the videos.
No, I know, but it doesn't. Most of these people, like, you have to be really arrogant to be just an average person thinking you're going to be able to walk up to somebody who does this for a living.
Yeah.
Because she's going to have a book of factoids she's going to be able to rattle off. The person she's talking to is going to be trying to make their argument that they've only really thought about in their head. They've never talked to anybody they've ever disagreed with. Like, be smarter than that.
Yeah, I hear you. But like, you got to think, like, so do you like the Change My Minds by Steven Crowder?
I think those are way better for sure. Okay. My thing with Steven Crowder is just like not always to my taste, but I don't have a problem.
No, I know you don't have a problem, but I'm saying these things need to be done.
Change My Mind things are way better than what she does.
All right,
in terms of if you want to actually make an argument and like change somebody's mind and have a conversation.
Well, that's not true. She's changed people's minds. Listen, dude, I've been following Liberty Hangout for a while. Okay, since 2014, 2015 or whatever. But like these are the type of people. I do believe she's doing good work. I do believe it's needed. People need to see these things, and you could call like Molly Yiannopoulos like a provocateur, or you know, like being provocative doesn't mean you're not genuine. In my opinion,
Molly Yiannopoulos does come off disingenuous, and he also routinely gets roasted when he actually has to talk to somebody.
I watched him in the Destiny. Destiny does a pretty good job. I don't think Milo is like. I'm not trying to compare. I'm just saying being provocative should not be a reason to be silenced, right? And
I don't know. I'm not advocating for that at all.
That's what the other side is doing, and people don't get to see it. So when these videos go viral of her not just like of just trying to talk to people, whether or not you like it or not.
No, I have no problem with
Shaun. But I'm saying it's important, though. That's all I'm saying. It's important that there are people out there doing it, like slightly offensive Fleckus talks.
I think people do it in different ways and different degrees and whatnot.
Like Flecka looks like a fucking an SJW guy. Like he looks like them
because he's a fat guy. How dare you? I don't know. I do wonder like how useful it is, and if it isn't just it escalates things sometimes. It's really only made for people that already kind of agree with the video. Like that's the audience for those videos. Not to say that somebody couldn't stumble on it or whatever, be like, oh, that's a good argument. I think the Steven Crowder ones are a little bit more convincing. I think somebody that doesn't already like agree with Steven Crowder might watch one of those and be like, oh, okay, these are some good points.
And I agree, but then you watch Caitlyn Bennett stuff and they're just attacking her. So
that's kind of no. People are complete idiots. They're just assholes when it comes to dealing with them. If you didn't like her, you could just fucking let her do her thing and walk away.
But do you think that when Steven Crowder goes to like Austin University, that basically the same type of stuff? He just lets people walk up to him, they mob him, they yell at him, they shout him.
I think that's stupid.
Thing. I don't think it's stupid. I think those are
no. I'm not saying the creation of the video is stupid. I think those people are stupid.
No, but people don't see that on the news. They don't see that.
Oh, yeah, sure. I understand
like that is important for a person who's afraid to speak on their views going, you know what? Like, This is bullshit. Like, this is not how it's supposed to be. And they may go speak their views more or be a little more seeing someone like Caitlin Bennett, who's a 5'4", 120-pound double D, titty chick, fucking out there just ripping. And it's great to see.
Dan's like my Valkyrie. Why don't you get in touch with her? Like, we could live trad life.
She's married, Shaun. She's married. I respect marriage.
Hey, we can always,
Yeah.
You don't gotta stay married. That's all I'm saying. Things are fluid these days.
I mean, it's just like, what are we supposed, how can we not have fucking open discourse? Open, just, you know what? I disagree with you. This is okay. We can even get a little upset, but we just leave. We go our separate ways, maybe a couple fuck yous, and then we go about our day. But the mob mentality, and it has to do something with our higher institutions of learning, whatever is going on there. Like, we need to stop funding these fucking institutions that are anti-American. Like, with federal funding. States do whatever they want. But federal funding should not be going towards programs or schools that are pushing anti-American doctrine.
Or just stay out of it entirely. But then what you're going to happen is, like, you're just going to have, I don't know, it might create a weird imbalance. And then you're just going to have some...
Companies need to stop hiring people with educations. They need to stop. I'm serious. Like, that's how you devalue the currency of education, the certificate of a degree. You stop hiring people from these institutions.
Just because they have a degree, yes.
Yeah, but you could be like, you know what? Like, you're from Harvard, dude. I don't think we need you. Like, so Harvard has to drive their price down. Now they don't have the value of their institutions. Now they can't charge $300,000 a year. Yeah, it will force them. No, well, it's happening when Trump signed.
Harvard's not that much money.
Well, it's very expensive.
About $45,000 a semester.
I would beg to differ. I bet it's
like
$45,000
a semester.
If you want to live on campus, if you want to do, I bet it just goes up and up and up. Like, I guarantee you, it's a lot more than 45. It may be just tuition. That's semester. Oh my God! Never mind. Jesus. Okay, so yeah, you're talking, but that's just tuition. That doesn't include housing. Doesn't include all the other things.
You want to fucking be with the big dogs?
Yeah, you got to spend the money, right?
Yeah.
But it's one of those things.
Baby, you want to be a Winkle boss?
It's just, I don't know, man. I'm sick and tired of all these, rich elitists telling us simpletons, I guess you could say, how to live, and it's been that way for a long time. And that's what I think. Is Trump a rich elitist? You could call him that for sure. But I also don't think he ignores the simpleton. I don't think he ignores your average American through his policies, through bringing industry and opportunity back to America, putting up opportunity zones, fully funding HBCUs, indefinite, made it a part of the budget.
I think if Trump understands things through the purview of his life and in running a business and whatnot, and he kind of has the sense that I'm not sure the motivation for some of this stuff is actually to help out the little guy, but it is a nice knock-on effect.
I mean,
it's just like he understands that it is a company to a some degree is bottom up. Like, you got to have it working down at the lowest rank to the highest top to be a successful company. Well, and I think to facilitate that, you do have to make things fair. You need to make things, people need to be happy with what they're doing and live
I think it even goes down to the point why he does care, in my opinion. My opinion is he does care because he was stating these things before he ran, and it actually came to fruition. It's not some weird bullshit like, I'll cut your taxes, and they don't.
No, I think he believes that stuff. I do, and I think he believes it for the reasons I stated. I don't think that's a problem. I just think okay, well, if somebody can recognize that, and that ultimately their success is your success, that's a good thing. Like, you want it to be a mutually beneficial thing. It doesn't need to be this weird thing that we have with the progressive movement where they're like, rich people should just give us all their money.
Yeah, toast the rich.
That's not like a mutually beneficial thing. You want it to be a a symbiotic relationship between employee and employer. You should help each other, and everything should work to the benefit of the other. That's how it should happen.
It's messy, and it's got a lot of red tape and bureaucracy and just a lot of nonsense. And it's just listen, I am sitting here going, I'm thankful that we have him in office, because I don't know how, because I don't know if it would have mattered who was in office other than Trump, because if it would have been Hillary, I guarantee you it would have been a lot worse of a response. Or maybe they wouldn't have cared. Because do you know how many people got H1N1 in the United States?
Like 2, 1?
60 million. 60
Oh no, I was thinking of the other thing. Never mind. Sorry.
Ebola?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they got 60 million had H1N1.
Yeah.
I can't say the deaths, but we're at like 8 million or something in the United States. Like, come on.
Well, so far, I mean,
listen.
I'm not one of these people that's just like, oh, like they're literally before your eyes in 1984 style trying to rewrite the past 7 months of history.
Oh, insane.
It's fucking insane. It's like, okay, you could be of the opinion and be like, oh, I think he mishandled or mismanaged, wasn't forceful enough in the beginning. If you want to have that opinion, that's fine. But to suggest that you guys would have been like some sort of saviors, or that like, oh, he knew, like even this big bombshell thing with this Bob Woodward dude really sounds like a dude talking off the cuff, not from a scientific point of view. And then there's tape of him basically saying the same thing to a press conference a few days later. A few days later, they're like, why aren't you like, taking this serious? Like, I do take it seriously, but I don't want to create a panic. And I'm trying to be positive. I think America will make it through. We're a strong country. We'll make it through. Same shit.
There was like 15 people in the country at the time. Like they thought they probably had a good lock on it.
Well, but he said to this guy, it's very serious. You can get it through like breathing.
Yeah, and then if Bob would have had such a fucking problem with it, why didn't he have the integrity to come out?
I agree with that. I think in context, Bob Woodward knew exactly what he meant. And I think he was just speaking extemporaneously. He's not speaking he was just like riffing, just like bullshitting, like, oh, this is serious. Like, we gotta, this is around the time he does the China travel ban. So it's not like,
well, he did it like 7 days before or whatever.
Well, it's not like he wasn't reacting, saying like, oh, it's not serious. Like, but you could criticize things because hindsight is always 20/20. You can always go back and criticize things. But the literal rewriting of history, especially when it comes to this Biden thing, man. I mean, Biden literally called him a fucking xenophobe for the China shit.
You're a xenophobe, dude.
You're a xenophobe. Actually, that is probably something Biden.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, that would be something he would.
You're a goddamn xenophobe.
Can we just say something real quick? How excited are you for September 29th?
Dude, I think we might have to.
Yes, live react.
Well. Yeah, we'll try to do a live react. We'll record our reactions if anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, yes.
And if you listen to the audio thing, this is why it's important. Get that iTunes, go in and subscribe, right? Every week. Because on YouTube, we will not be able to upload it with the debate. It will only be reactions, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I will sync up the audio from the debate, and I'll put it up on iTunes, baby. Just like you want to go watch the last debate we did. Dan and I watched. The audio is on the audio version. Not on the video version, but the audio version, right as rain, baby.
Right as rain. And I think since we're reacting, I still don't see how we get taken down off of YouTube or like they do stuff like
dude, they don't care. Because they're like, they don't give a shit about fair use. Yeah. They don't actually care. CNN's just like, I have the copyright. And they're like, okay.
Yeah, dude. It's so much garbage out there, man. Like I hope there is another platform that arises and just whatever. But I'm excited for the debate. I think I kind of get this weird feeling though that Trump might be shocked by Biden's like ability to debate.
Oh, Biden's gonna bring it. He's gonna bring it.
Yeah,
he's gonna be all jacked up. He was talking. Didn't Trump give an interview? I saw like a little clip. He's like, he's on drugs or something. Like one time you see him, he's tired, and then other he's like, ugh. I was like, dude, I mean, bravo. Like you're making me laugh. You're making me laugh, but probably shut the fuck up.
No, I love it. I love that shit. Like I know some people don't like his bold, brash, but no, fuck that. I don't need a politician. I want a president.
Although that is a politician move.
No, I mean it is.
Yes, dude.
Hold on.
This is not a new thing. Even back in the day.
Yeah, I'm speaking this for.
They used to accuse each other of like fucking goats. Like back in the day, they did crazy shit.
No, but I'm just saying, dude, Trump's been doing this shit forever. He used to talk shit about Rosie O'Donnell. Like that's what he does. It's what he does.
Yeah, I know that.
Well, nothing's changed.
Well, like, maybe it should.
Be a little bit worried if they Antonio Browned him. I don't know if you don't know what that means. Go see how Antonio Brown acted for like the week he was on the Patriots. He looked like Get Out. Like he was just like, yeah, all right. Like, dude, just straight up like, because Antonio Brown was crazy, and then he came to the Patriots like, you shut your fucking mouth if you want to play in the NFL. And he goes, okay, okay. Because like, I guarantee you, like Bill Belichick's like, listen, dude, we don't fucking do that here, huh? You come here, you play fucking ball, you shut your fucking mouth. You feel your hands? You see them? You catch balls with them. That's all you need to do. See your feet? You cut routes. You get down the field, and guess what you do? You catch fucking balls. This is your now. I don't know. We'll see. And dude, do you know what? Me and Ryan were talking, or Ryan and I were talking today, and because he was driving up to Charlotte, hence we're alone. No one cares about the podcast, but Shaun and I. We're coming for you, boys. Listen, every episode you miss, you lose a percentage of your take in the company, and me and Shaun split it.
I think so. I mean, right now, I probably have the lion's share. You know, I think like if we were to divvy up the money that would be made from Zoobox, I mean, I'm sitting pretty well right now.
No, that's not true. That's not true. No, we all started Zoobox together. You do independent things on this channel. That's up to you.
No, I should be compensated for uploading and editing and rendering.
This is a This is a fucking oligarchy here.
Well, I agree. I think we should equally spread out the responsibility of that stuff. We'll talk about that. But
well, we will be able to soon. You know.
But
Tuesday.
But anyways, what were you saying? I don't even remember. Ryan, Charlotte, you guys.
Oh yeah, Ryan and I were talking, and he's like, "How has Tom Brady stayed out of the news cycle about any of this shit? Tom Brady hasn't had to make a statement. Tom Brady, no one's ever like, and whatever he says, like, it's never shocking."
You're right. You know what? I'm gonna have to bring out my Twitter. Let me start at the NFL. Like,
Tom Brady, do you not?
Tom spoken about Black Lives.
Oh, did you? Oh, sidestep, dude. Did you fucking see that video of that lady on the airplane?
Yes.
That blew up, and you're like, oh my god. I'm sitting.
She's
like,
a queen, didn't you know? That's when you're like, that's when it's insane. When people are referring to themselves as queens.
With Jordan, that's a thing that's been going on for.
I know that,
but
it's still stupid.
I understand, but so Jordan Whitlock called her Shakaran, like
Shakira Shaft.
No, fucking like what's the fucking anti-Semite dude? Farrakhan.
Farrakhan.
Like he was making like a slight on that. Yeah, Shakaran, and there's like Shalisha or there's like Shakaran or something, and I just posted. I was like, that was a burn on like several levels. Congratulations, sir. And he liked my post. It was a pretty big day. Big day, guys. But pretty big deal. I'm Twitter. But Deekster too at Twitter. If you want to follow me, I post very spicy stuff. But I watched the video. And obviously, there's no context before the video to start, so who knows what happened. But it's something to do with about her going to the bathroom, and then like I think they maybe were landing, taking off. There was some, I don't know if they were in the air. I'm not sure. Like but like there was something where people needed to be seated, which is usually in landing or taking off. Like that's generally where you have to be seated.
Sounds like she was trying to go to the bathroom, and the stewardess was like, "Yo, you gotta sit down."
Yeah, and I guess, well, in the video, they're talking back and forth. Like, just go watch the video, guys. But the lady, there's this younger, Caucasian woman, Caucasian, and she was basically like, can you just, like, stop? And she's like, oh, yeah, you come over here talking with all your white fucking privilege. Fuck you. And you're like, oh, my God. And she goes, guess what? It's 2020, babe, people. You don't have white privilege anymore, or some shit like going on.
You don't have, like, power over me anymore.
Yeah,
I hope she got removed from the flight. I mean, that's the only thing that's going to happen. Like, what did she think was going to happen? Like, you're just going to get removed from the flight.
And Brandon Straka got removed for not wearing a fucking mask. Okay, you know, but she has her mask.
The grifters out there, like,
Shaun King was rubbing his hands together, just being like, Tariq Nasheed, Shaun King. They're just like, oh yeah, about to get that SJW money, and then they fucking did. And as they like added they're all. I'm just trying to get in. Can I
try to get in the grift game?
Yeah.
Have you been tweeting obsessively about a movie you've never seen?
No. Oh, Cuties. Talking about Cuties. Dude, did you? I watched it.
I watched it. I was gonna record a review earlier and then post it, but my kid never took a nap, so I never got a chance to.
Well, let's not get too heavily into it, but would you say it is what people think it is from the, I guess you could say, the conservative view?
No.
Or
No, they're really going overboard with a movie they've clearly not seen.
But do you
I think there are things you can definitely go and criticize that movie for, and the way it handles things. This is kind of what I talked about. We talked about the trailer when it came out like a week or two ago. Must have been 2 weeks ago. And I was like, as a director and as a cinematographer, they make choices about how they shoot something, and that really is going to make the difference between whether or not you are objectifying or sexualizing or not.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I do think there's a few times where I think it's questionable. I think the intention of the director is to be like implicate the audience and being like, see, you also do this. But it's really not fair. It's like a false paradigm. So I think while I do not actually think the director's intentions are what people are claiming, what I think though, I think is that she just missed the mark. And then reflexively, the critics, because of the outrage, because of the trailer, they go overpraise the movie and don't call out or criticize the things fairly. So it completely destroys the discourse surrounding the movie. You can't actually talk about the movie.
Do you think it is overtly graphic with children at that age, 10, 11 years old? For what they're doing, and even like forget all the themes. I'm just saying, like, do you think it would you like I said, want?
I think it's different. I think it depends on how it's shot. There are some.
No, Shaun, I'm not. I hear you, but I'm saying overtly. Are there some I'm just saying overtly graphic? Do you think that is like a good thing for children to be viewed in this light? I'm just asking, like, as a principal, as a father, if you had a daughter like doing this type of stuff on film, being shown in these positions, would you think this is a good thing?
It's not as provocative as it is made to look. Like, it's just not.
Well, I mean, that like minute clip that came out of them dancing on stage.
Of doing that dance, sure. And I don't.
I was like,
this would be part of my criticism, is that sometimes when you are critiquing something, you have a danger of actually just doing the thing. So, have you ever seen Ready Player One?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready Player One. A lot of people seen the Steven Spielberg movie. Came out a couple years ago. Ready Player One is literally the thing that is the bad guy in the movie. It is literally the thing that it is critiquing, that it is calling out. Ready Player One is nostalgia porn that and that is what the movie is railing against.
Yeah, it's a commercialized product.
It's fucking completely dissonant.
Yeah, but wouldn't the book be the same thing?
CUTIES, yeah, the book is probably the same thing. I've never read the book. I just can only speak to the movie. But CUTIES kind of falls into the same territory, where you're like, okay, this is a coming-of-age story. This is about, it's like about cultural stuff, social stuff, peer pressure stuff. There's all the kind of hallmarks of a coming-of-age story are in there. It hits all of those things, but it kind of updates it for a modern era because there's internet, there's cell phones, there's social media. Those things are also in there. It's making a point about, like, kids will go watch a fucking Ratchet rap video and be like, oh, that's what it means to be an adult, because that's how kids think about being an adult. They think about, like, you wear sex slutty clothes, you dance provocatively, you do this means I'm older.
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
So that is part of what the movie's getting at. I think the movie is very messy. I don't think it nails it at all. And I think if critics were being honest, they could have said that, but they are going to tribalize because that segment of the online tribalized, calling it a pedo film and calling the director a pedophile. Like, I'm sorry, throwing that kind of shit around like that, especially before you've even seen the fucking movie, and then when it came out, it's like they saw what they wanted to see. It was a little over the top.
I haven't seen it, but I just maybe not want to watch it by that at least one scene, and I mean, maybe that's a little, whatever. But I do believe that showing children in these manners, like, it's something that I understand from an artistic standpoint, much like, when Playboy showed what's her name when she was like 13 years old, fucking nude, like
No, I agree. I think
sexualization of children in any sense, I think it makes people uncomfortable. Of
course it does, and I don't discount that, and I don't think that the movie itself is actually actively like attempting to sexualize children. I think what it is trying to, like, hold the mirror up to society. It's a really lame, stupid fucking thing, but that's what the goal of the movie is. Like I said, I think it's a little wide of the mark. I don't think it does a great job. I don't think it hits its mark. And I think, but to go to the other extreme and suggest that this is something that it's not, it just seems very disingenuous.
You're gonna tell me that this lady never flew on Epstein's Lolita? We'll see.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
We'll see. We'll see when the documents come out. When the documents come out.
But she's brought up on charges by
like,
Trump.
wouldn't that be wild though? Wouldn't that be fucking?
The first debate is just about cuties.
Yes. I think it's. I don't know. I just think it's something that in society with where all this, because QAnon really started Save the Children movement. And
yeah, but what do you? I mean, we're talking about like you go watch like coming of age movies from the 80s and 90s starring little boys, and they're doing
Stand by Me.
Stand by Me, The Goonies, like there's all sorts of fucking perverted porno magazines. Like, so those kids were around that stuff. Nobody had a fucking problem. Nobody even brings that up when they're talking about this stuff today.
I don't think they're necessarily, in my opinion, when you look back at some of these films, it's like, well, they know children inherently are curious of sex, and that younger people are, and they all were, but it's not sexualizing the children. Like, it's not, you're not trying to sexualize them as an object. They're into, like the object is the pornography, not the children.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's a totally fair point. I think there are a few instances where I was like, okay, like you have made a mistake here because you're undermining your message of the movie by doing it this way.
Fair enough.
Because what she's trying to do is the director is trying to be like, this is how society views girls.
Yeah, and
society sexualizes girls.
Yes. Well,
and
congratulations on making like the biggest fucking.
Well, it's the Streisand effects. Now that thing's going to jump up to #1 on Netflix. Everybody's going to go watch it.
Well, maybe. I guess a lot of people are canceling, and they're doing the cancel Netflix thing. And I canceled my Netflix. I will not support fucking pedophilia. But
it's just like it's one of these things where I think it's too bad it went the way it did, because then you could have had a real conversation about like, okay, well, what does this mean, and like how did this work and not work? Because the concept of like this is something that critics have been bitching about for years. It's like the male gaze, they call it. They say when a male director directs a woman in anything that's sexy or empowering, that they always do it for the eye of the male consumer. Well, okay, if we believe that is a thing, then we should be able to believe that this is also possible.
Yeah.
And I think the director I think she fucked it up. She fucked up her own movie.
Well, there we go. She fucked it up. Everyone go watch Cuties and fucking decide for yourself. Aaron, let us know in the comments if you've watched it, because that could be an interesting thing to spar about.
Okay, canceled. I mean, listen, when you've been opened up to the id of the internet in the way I have the past week, oh my God. I guess we close this show with this. I had to nuke a post on our Facebook page. I had to nuke it.
Why?
So there's this, what's her name? Ashley Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
This one of these, like, OG BLM activists.
Oh, yeah. I saw it was blowing up. I know.
I know. I had to nuke it.
Why did you nuke it? Why?
Too much, dude. Like, I could not moderate that stuff. And I was trying to find a way to shut the comments off. Like,
why? Why would you?
Because people are being like overtly.
Yeah. Who cares? It's freedom of speech. Let them do it.
I know it's on my page. I'm not gonna have somebody using the N-word and shit like that.
I know. But
if I'm gonna get kicked off of Facebook, it's gonna be for something I did, not for something.
Well, you won't get kicked off for comments from somebody else.
Sure, I will. It's our responsibility to moderate comments on our own Facebook pages.
Is that a part of it? Really?
I believe so. Yeah, we could be totally kicked off for that.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but I don't mind people saying whatever they gotta say and stuff, but you're not gonna be like saying the N-word on my fucking Facebook page. It's not happening.
I hear you, but like, it's one of those.
You could go on your own Facebook page and do it. Like, I don't care.
I hear you. I just personally, I think it would have been, now that person who said that thing could never be screenshotted, or now that guy's out there living in the world.
I'm not trying to ruin his life.
I'm just saying, but it's just like, well, Facebook can take down your content based off of what people comment on your content, because that's ridiculous. The shit I see.
So I don't know if that's 100% true.
No, it's not, because I see this shit all the time.
It doesn't matter. I was saying me personally. Like, I'm not going to be.
No, I hear you. I just think it's something that, like, well, how many people did we lose? How many people did we, not attract to our audience, or like could have grabbed?
Oh, I'm not really 100% concerned about that, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, because there were plenty of people who said plenty of spicy things that I did not touch or
Yeah.
I engaged with, or I was,
But like people were really throwing the N word around, huh?
oh
Like,
yeah, and
wow.
using euphemisms and using also, I was just like, Jesus Christ, like you go on a stranger's Facebook.
Yeah, but you were fucking definitely.
No, but
I
I
was
never.
like, I know, Sean. I read the comments and I was sitting there going like, what the fuck, dude? Like you're doing this. You started it. It was you.
Yeah,
you were the monster.
No, I didn't first. No, some of those people, most of the things that I didn't have any interaction with didn't.
No,
like,
but you were trolling people, getting them very upset. They started sharing it, and then like.
But there are people that are so fucking dumb that said like we're treating me seriously when I was like, you're a demon. I'm calling the racism police.
Dude, you were talking to like 80-year-old dudes. Like that's what it looked like. A bunch of old.
Dude, there
like,
was some
white
lady.
people.
There was some lady. I was gonna do a hot reacts only video about it.
I don't know why you did it. You ruined it.
Because then I was like, then I'm gonna have to go like screenshot all these things and block these people's names and yada yada. And it was like, I just could not get this lady to understand that she was like I was fucking with her, and I didn't want to tell her.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just being so over the top. I was like mirrors. That's because of your whiteness. That's why you like to look at mirrors. Because she was like, man, this lady needs to get a mirror. Like, there's ways to dress. I'm a big girl, too. I was like, mirrors, man.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Like, no, that's how over the top I was being. And I got to give a shout out to Glenn, who was on our Boogaloo or Booga and Alooing episode.
Yeah, Glenn K. brought.
Yeah. He joined in a little trolling, too. We had a good time.
Glenn is a fucking human troll. That motherfucker.
Because I made the joke, like I responded to Glenn. He's like, Glenn's like, whoa, a lot of racists in here, and I was like, I know. I was like, all I'm trying to do is educate, teach, like give these people something to learn. He's like, can't educate demons. That was so good.
Glenn, we love you, man. Thank you for coming into the comments. We're gonna have to have Glenn back on eventually.
Yeah, we gotta have another
boys' night.
Another boys' night.
Another boys' night.
Actually, we could do Booga and Alooing Part 2. There's a lot of I've learned about their actual beliefs.
There's some wild shit out there. They're basically Antifa.
Like, they're not Antifa. They're just like, fuck the government, dude.
Yeah, they're anarchists. They're just anarchists, though, in the same sense. Like, it's weird. Yeah. They've been co-opted by some weird shit, too. Some guy infiltrated. It was so funny. This infiltrated Antifa on 4chan. And he literally said it's how hilarious. It's like so funny that there's literally like 800 subgroups to their main group for like all these like different perspectives. Like, you know, if you're a black trans man, like you can go here and like that. Like they've segregated themselves into these weird. And then like, and it's so funny because they have no dominance hierarchy. So there's like no way to organize. Like they can't like figure it out, and someone will be like, "Hey, like, is there anything going on this weekend?" And everyone will just go, "I don't know, man. Like, talk to this person. Hey, we gotta organize. Like, we're gonna do something." He's like, "Dude, you fucking do it, man. Like, just why don't you organize it yourself, guy?" And it's just like it's literally hilarious that they're trying to run something and they can't because they're so anarchist. Like, it's built to fail. Like, it's the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, because they want to be constantly decentralized. So there's only so far you're gonna be able to take that. And also they're young and stupid, and they're not actually. They're just the peons, dude. That they think they're under the illusion that they have like a say in what's going on.
Yeah.
When really it's like, yo, do this, and they're like, okay.
Yeah, and it's like one of these weird. The guy does a deep dive. I have to find it. It's pretty funny. He's like a meme lord. This guy is like, the left doesn't know how to meme. I know how to meme, and it's just like it's memes, and you're just like, it's so funny. I can't remember the guy's name right now, but he infiltrated the 4chan and had like a detailed breakdown of like all the things that are wrong with them, like all the things that like they talk about, and you're just like, holy shit, these people are fucking crazy, dude. Good times. We'll defeat the fascists. We'll defeat them.
We shall defeat them all.
And like the history's all there, like setting it up to make it look like in Stalin's like the anti-fascista in Stalin, and you're just like, you guys are just definitely placating, like basically saying that Stalin he was a bad guy that got corrupted by the like capitalist deals. It's like that's how they view it. Well, it's because true socialism never, or true communism is never really.
I know. They always say that.
Oh, and who was the first people Stalin killed? The people that helped him get there. That's the first people.
Because he knows they're like him. You can't have that kind of duplicity hanging around.
They have the ability to organize and create an uprising. They know how to do it, so they want to get rid
shady. If they would do that shit to their own people, why wouldn't they kill Stalin if the opportunity arose? He knew that.
It actually ended up happening. The death of Stalin.
I know. Yeah, that is fucking hilarious. Especially if you I would say with the caveat, if you know about that history, that movie is a howler.
And it's even called a drama on Netflix. It's like,
well, they have the scene because there's a famous story about Stalin's funeral about people having to clap and nobody wanted to be the first one to stop clapping. And it's hilarious the way they do it in the movie. It's so fucking funny.
Sometimes in the face of evil, you can just all you can do is laugh. Well,
it's Armando Iannucci, the guy who did Veep. Some other shows too.
I remember Jojo Rabbit. Speaking of other dictators about movies that have been made recently, which was
it was whatever.
Yeah, it was very. Yeah,
I mean, like the Hitler joke wears off after 10 minutes.
But they do take it out long enough. There's a good gap in the middle where he's really not around. So like it wasn't overplayed. I didn't think. Oh, do you know what? I know this isn't Zoobox of the movies, but what I watched last night, I have a theory now for this movie, which I think you'll respect. I watch The Prestige.
Mm-hmm.
Great film. And I'm on a kind of like a little Christopher Nolan kick ever since I saw Tenet. And I'm thinking about watching Inception tonight, honestly. But I was... And guys, just so you know, the only place you can find this movie in two places. You can't get it on Amazon Prime. You can't get it. I don't know why. It won't let you do it. Yeah, it won't let you buy it. I was like, what the fuck? So I had to go to PlayStation. Like my PlayStation store to buy it, or it's only available on that or Vudu, or like iTunes. Like I couldn't get it on Amazon. I don't know what dispute they're having with Christopher Nolan. There's so.
Well, it's weird because the Prestige 4K is really expensive. They only did like a limited run of them. It's like a $40 movie for some reason. But
well, you would know that. You would know that.
I did.
For sure. Yeah. But I watched The Prestige last night, and I'm watching it. And this is probably my 10th time in my life or something that I've watched this movie. And I realized something, this new theory, like not theory, it makes sense to me. So they tell you very early on, obviously all the foreshadowing and the literary devices to let you know that like, I'm going to do a big spoiler, everybody. So if you haven't seen The Prestige, you can fuck off now. Have a good night. But so in the beginning of the movie, obviously one of the main centerpieces of this film is the death of Hugh Jackman's wife due to the whole knot thing.
Yeah.
Well, the knot thing. So I came up with part of this, and I came up with half of it. And I went and researched to see if anyone else agreed with me because I was like, that's just a great idea. Someone had to have already looked into this because I started looking up. I'm like, okay, well, what knot did he tie? Right? And I was like, what knot did this guy tie? Because I watched the film and I was like, someone should know what knot this is. There's a knot guy out there in the internet that would be able to tell me. And BDSM guy, he's a naughty dude. You know what I'm saying? But I know.
Fire this man.
I know. But all right, anyway, so in this movie, Christian Bale is basically playing two people without you really knowing until very far into the story and near the end.
Yeah.
So technically, they switched off every day. That's like one of the main themes that you realize, right? You realize that they switch off every day. They take turns. One being Borden, and then one being the other guy, the helper dude.
Yeah.
The assistant. So there's a scene, it's very specific in this movie where they go after the stage, it's right after the first water event thing, and he's like, Michael Caine is like, tie this fucking knot, don't do this one because of A, B, C, or D, right? He's like, this could fucking hurt her, and it's not a wet knot or a water knot or whatever. Well, it clicked. I was like, oh shit. Watching it through again, you realize that they were switching off every show because they were doing it every night. So one guy must have been kind of not very good at knots, and one dude must have been better at knots.
He got mixed up. Yeah.
Yeah, so because you can see he starts to tie a knot, and then he goes, "Fuck, I don't really know how to tie that knot." Like that's really why he changed it, is because he was questioning himself. He's like, I don't really. I'm gonna do the one I know.
Yeah.
And that's where it was awesome just to see that
No,
how
I
the
mean,
level of detail.
That's the kind of thing with a lot of Christopher Nolan movies is that they benefit from repeat viewings because there's always some sort of like twist or revelation at the end, and if you watch it again, you see how it's kind of seeded through the story. And
Yeah, he's
Prestige definitely has that. You know, a lot of people.
Not to mention David Bowie. Come on.
I don't know if
David Bowie was an amazing.
I'm not sure how people feel about the Prestige, but I've always thought it was very entertaining. It's a very good movie.
I have never not heard a person that say they liked it. And you know what? I had a friend tell me today. I was talking to him. Silly Mon, right? Silly Mon goes, I fucking don't like Hugh Jackman, but I actually liked him in The Prestige. And he's like, I don't like Hugh Jackman or something like that. Well, what about Logan? He's like, well, that's the one I like. If I do like prefer a Hugh Jackman, that's his best movie. I'm like, you've never seen Prisoners though.
Yeah,
dude, that is one of my favorite. That's my top 100. If I had to make a list of 100 movies, Prisoners might be in there. Like it's a great movie.
Prisoners is great until the last 10 minutes of that fucking movie.
Okay,
I was so irritated by the way that movie ends. Like, no, it's not good police work. It's not anything like that. It's I stumbled onto it. Like I was like, oh, come on. Like you just let him be a good cop. Just let him put the pieces together, dude.
Yeah, but the thing is, hey, that's life, baby. That's life.
Things just happen like that. No, but I will say this: Hugh Jackman, great performance. That's actually Denny Villeneuve or whatever his friend name is.
His new movie, Dune.
Dune. Did you watch the trailer for Dune? Dan?
Yeah. Okay. Listen, dude. I'm not a fucking faggot. Okay. So like, I fucking am not like all excited about Dune, and like everyone's like, dude, Dune, and I'm like, it looks good. It looks good. He did Blade Runner 2049. He's done Prisoners. I enjoy it. So I enjoy his directing.
Have you seen Arrival?
Yeah, it was all right. I'm not like it's
Arrival. Okay. Arrival is actually the movie that it should be the second time you watch it, because then you actually experience the story from the same way the character does.
Okay, I've never watched it twice, honestly. It kind of left me a little like,
well, you know how at the end of the movie she's not experienced time in a linear fashion, right? So if you watch it a second time, you're actually watching it in the way the character would experience the story with the knowledge of what's going to happen.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. Hey, listen. I say watch Prisoners. Go check out Cuties. Tell her what's up.
What did you think of the Dune trailer?
Oh, I mean, it was, I don't know how to feel about it. I'm not a Dune guy. I
read Dune for the first time this summer.
Yeah, well, I mean, what do you think then? Because like I kind of watched it. I was like, it looks like a good, like interesting movie, but I know nothing about it. Like I don't really.
It looks cool, and I guess I'm kind of an outlier. I really liked that the Pink Floyd, the Dark Side of the Moon version they used for the trailer. I thought it was great. Mm-hmm. Just in the way that it cut together with the movie. I don't know if I would want to listen to it on its own, but in the relative to the trailer, I was enjoying that. It looks like a very pretty faithful adaptation of Dune, and I know they're only doing the first half of the book, hoping it does well. And I was like, how does Warner Brothers?
Ballsy. Gotta respect it.
It's ballsy, but it's also like, Blade Runner 2049 was like a huge flop.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be the same thing as the original Blade Runner. Blade Runner 2049 is going to find its base.
No, it will. Of course it will. But because it is a cult movie in the making. It and it has the production value. It has all that stuff that the original Blade Runner had. I mean, granted, it's not as good of a movie. I don't care what anybody fucking says. There's some psychos out there that think 2049 is the better movie. You're out of your fucking.
I don't agree. Yeah.
But Dune, I feel like it's the same type of thinking. It's like, because obviously the studio was like, well, everybody likes Blade Runner. It's a classic. We got it. It's a classic movie. Here's $250 million, and then it makes like $100 million, if that. I mean, and then so Dune. This is the thing. They're like, Dune's a classic. Fucking everybody likes Dune, motherfucker. Nobody knows anything about fucking Dune.
Yeah, like I'm an avid.
You watch that trailer and just be confused because they're like trying to sell you because Dune is kind of like a proto Game of Thrones. It's got a lot of the same. It's got like political intrigue. It's got all that kind of stuff. So watching that trailer, I felt like, they're kind of leaning into that type of thing. But Dune was ripped off by every successful franchise that came after it. Star Wars rips off Dune.
Crawl.
Well, No, not Krull.
Well, debate.
But like no, but like there. So it is like this proto thing. Except Dune has a very cool twist where it subverts the fucking hero myth and the Messiah thing that's going on with the main character and twists it on its head.
Well, there we go.
That is the difference with Dune. But if they're only going to do half the story, and I have a feeling I know where the story is going to split, you've only made a movie that is all world building. Like almost like nothing really happens. Like that's reading the book is really frustrating. The first 300 pages, you're like, when the fuck is? What the fuck? I thought this was like a classic book. Like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like,
is it worth it? Do you bust your load?
is the juice worth the squeeze? Yeah, yes and no. I mean, like, it is something that is almost you already know the story through cultural osmosis because you've seen everything that it influenced.
Mm-hmm.
So it did have that, like, me going into it, like, made it very predictable for me. But I did enjoy the read. I am looking forward to the movie. I thought the trailer was pretty cool. Like, it's a cool, like, superficially, I'm like, oh, that looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, dude. Giant worms.
So you're gonna go see it, IMAX.
Baby, of course I'm gonna go see it. IMAX.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll go see this these days. Oh, and then they canceled all the fucking movies that are coming out in the next for October.
What?
Wonder Woman has been completely taken off the slate. Candyman delayed until 2021. Once November comes, they're gonna James Bond's gonna be next year. Like they're just gonna move all the Dune. The trailer for Dune. Guess what, everybody? It has a release date. It's December 18th. But you know what the trailer said? Only in theaters. And you know what that means? They're not committed to December 18th at all. I don't even know if there's going to be fucking movie theaters by the time that thing comes out.
Dude.
Do my part, okay, guys? If they give me $5 movies for IMAX, $5, like I'll go. I'll go see some movies. We'll talk about it.
I mean, it was really dead when I went to see Tenet. It was dead.
Only about 40 people in my screening.
So many people are going to be so screwed, man. We're really into dire times. I understand why there's a lot of civil unrest, like from like some points being like, dude, some people
aren't going to Christopher Nolan movies. You know it's bad.
You just know that if everything, all these restaurants, 55% of businesses on Yelp are officially shut down. Like, not bad. You're like, that's not good. That's not good. But I don't know. I'm still going to be positive. I'm going to say things are going to work out. Don't want to cause panic. Got to downplay the situation. I'm Donald Trump.
I think this could save Hollywood because they're going to have to go back to the $50 million like mid-tier adult movie. They're not going to just be able to do like four $300 million movies a year and call it a day. Like now we're actually might get like some quote unquote cinema, as Martin Scorsese would say. Like for me, that's good, you know. Or maybe we'll get some like $100 million science fiction movies. Not everything needs to be a fucking $1 billion movie. I don't understand this.
It's me like Moon. You know, that's a good like science.
Exactly.
Movie.
That's a good example. You know, only Christopher Nolan should be given these kinds of sums of money. And I think Tenet's okay. But like I'm still like, but next time, Chris, you got my back.
No. Come on, Tenet is worth watching, and I think on a
100% is worth watching. Yeah,
it's better.
I mean, it's no.
I do agree. But I do agree with you after watching like The Prestige and like watching a couple other Christopher Nolan stuff recently. I'm like, these women suck. The love interest, like, they're just so cliche. You're like, corny, a little corny.
Yeah, I don't think he's really good at that stuff.
He's not good at fucking.
I wish he had like a co-writer that he like really. I mean, he used to do because he used to be his brother, Jonathan Nolan. He's the one who co-wrote like Memento. He co-wrote the Batman movies. I believe he has a writing credit on Inception. Maybe Interstellar as well. I'm not sure.
We'll see what happens. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Cinema's dead.
Cinema is no more. I am declaring.
I can't wait until we can go to the theater. And it's just like in a park now because like, you can't, like, you know what I mean? It's going to be like just like live action plays. Like you'll have like Steven Spielberg out there directing Jurassic Park with like Mel Gibson as the T-Rex.
More rain. Mel.
Yeah.
Have another drink, Mel. Roar. Yeah. Roar for me, Mel. Well, Mel Gibson, he's got a new movie coming out, boy. Fat Man. It's some sort of action movie that has to do with him being Santa Claus.
That's sick. Always excited, and he has also got the Passion of the Christ.
Jealous.
Like, do you remember the Family Guy? Remember the
Yes, it was literally a joke in the Family Guy. Yes, and now they're doing it.
Yeah.
Well, they might be
It's
doing it.
it's the Resurrection of Christ, I think is the name.
Yeah, it should just be called the Passion of the Christ too. Get up, get on.
No, just DOS, DOS. So it's still like,
Yeah, it's Latin.
foreign. It feels foreign,
Just this time, the entire film will be spoken in Spanish, no subtitles.
And only performed by Asians, because we need to be inclusive.
Dude, I remember when our dad saw that movie. You know this asshole?
I was there.
You know why this asshole comes up and tells me? Because I saw it the night before you guys did.
Yeah.
Comes up to me, he's like, you know what? He's like, I just felt like I was speaking to me. Like, I didn't even need to read the subtitles. I was like, shut up. I was like, but good thing they were there, though.
Yeah. I would be kind of... But then again, no, that is a movie you can watch without subtitles if you're a Catholic and you grew up your whole life.
Totally get the story, yeah. 100%.
Yeah,
you already
like,
know it by heart before you went to the theater. Yeah.
Like, I know the 13 crosses and everything. All right. The 13 stations. I've been there, done that. 13, weird number, everybody.
Yeah, those the 7 apostles. I know those guys.
Yeah. Peter, Paul, Mark, and Shaun, and
wasn't that Brutus? Did he betray Jesus? Caesar.
Et tu, Brute, right?
That's where that's from. That's where that's from.
I'm pretty sure Shakespeare wrote this play, actually.
Yeah. Isn't this based on Hamlet?
Honestly, though, if people want to watch some somewhat sad and entertaining stuff, go watch the 9/11 people on the ground, and you just see people going, "What the fuck? What's going on here?"
Actually,
it's crazy.
If you want to get the real like as close as you can probably to on the ground that day, there is a documentary. I think it was put up by the History Channel.
It was called Hoaxed, right?
No. It's called Loose Change.
Yeah.
The Final Cut. No, it's called 102 Minutes, and it's all made up of footage of people and reporters and stuff that were literally on the ground, and they do it in real time. So it's 102 minutes from the time the first plane hits.
That's cool.
All the way through to 100 minutes.
You know, it's actually like it surprises me today. Like and I know we gotta go, but like guys, listen, this is interesting. But like we sit there, like if you think about how our society has evolved with the technology to be able to film anything, could you imagine the shit they would have found if people would have had cell phones, like the ability to film? We could have seen all the explosions, the thermite going off, and and like, dude, watching the devastation of those buildings and like actually watching, you're like, did they fall? Like you actually start questioning, like, maybe they really did fall. Like maybe they really did, because like I mean, like from what happened, like you just like, dude, it is bad. Like these fucking this thing is a roaring flame. Like the smoke coming out of this thing is like
you think so you're pro jet fuel melting steel beams, huh?
JP8, Shaun. JP8. I don't know. Like I don't know how I feel about the conspiracy theory stuff anymore. I used to be really into it. I want to see like an updated, more modern view from like a skeptical view of things. I would like to see if anything has come out for change.
There's a lot of weird anomalies. No, actually, because there's been a bunch of stuff. I bet you next year, when this is the 20th anniversary, you're going to see tons of retrospectives and stuff. But I was actually watching something with the guy who did Loose Change, the OG conspiracy doc for the one that blew up and went viral. And he was talking to a guy that wrote an article about like the kind of the culture, the truther movement culture, like what rose up around Loose Change. Loose Change was kind of a watershed moment. It's almost like the birth of a movement. And the guy wrote an article that was kind of negative about him, and the writer actually came on his stream and talked to him. And there's a ton of weird shit.
No, I know. I know a lot about it.
No, and I'm not even talking about the planes hitting.
I know.
It's like United 93. There's tons of weird stuff.
Well, there's like
the Pentagon. There's weird stuff.
Yeah,
But the guy that he's interviewing, like, they have such a slavish devotion to a narrative that some of it is not even that is actually factually wrong, and you're able to like just
like it's not even
away.
Like
you could literally Google the information and be like, oh, that's wrong.
Well, you could take away all the Twin Towers falling stuff, all those theories and whatever, and you just look at the surrounding situation, but like you got to remember, a lot of these people had never experienced hijackings like this. This wasn't like the TSA. Like these people weren't prepared. There was a lot of confusion. People, like, dude, like that is something I would believe to happen. Like
no. So people think the conspiracy. Are you talking about United 93?
No, I'm just talking about like the people that worked in the air traffic control, like coordinating stuff, and then like not getting up jets fast enough, and why would you not be tracking a fucking aircraft and alert the Pentagon as it's generally heading in that direction? Like you can't turn off the nav.
Yeah, those
like,
kind of things for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the weirder stuff to me.
I mean,
I guess
the United. Well, I think it seems like the prevailing theory about United 93 is that we actually shot it down.
I actually do believe that. Yeah, because there's over 7 miles.
8 miles.
8 miles. Yeah.
And there was no bodies, and like the people that came down to the crash site were like, it didn't look like a plane had crashed there.
No,
like the place they were sent to.
It was like debris. Like it blew up, and debris gets scattered over miles.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not an ammunitions or a missile expert, but what I do know in a pressurized container, because I am an explosives expert, everybody must realize this. A pressurized container, and then it fucking expands from an explosion. Like that shit will just, and not just from the explosion initially, but it will just be fucking disintegrated. There's nothing but jet fuel in these fucking wings. Like it literally will like evaporate almost. Like
it's the guy was like getting so animated. The guy who made Loose Change. He's just like, listen. If you can point to me any commercial airliner craft where the bodies are like fucking incinerated, like evaporated, then please tell me. He's like, yeah, sure, somebody might get their head cut off, or there might be a torso's ripped, there might be carnage, but there will be bodies. There will be bodies there in the wreckage. Yeah. I don't know. It was like I'm not.
I might have to do a deep dive with Jay, with Conspiracy Jay.
Oh, actually, yeah, that'd be a good time.
Yeah, you could even come on. We could we could all conspiracy it up. Maybe not on 9/11, right? But I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't, like, I think that would make sense though. If you take all the conspiracy theory out, it would make absolute sense that they said shoot it down before it gets to its destination.
No, I know.
It makes sense. Like I can sit there and go, it was obviously heading in, I don't know where it could have hit or what they were aiming for, but since they hit, you telling
me that movie is probably not true?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've ever seen Sully, but if Sullivan would have been on this aircraft, he would have karate fought everyone
upside down, baby, right?
Dude, honestly,
what if it was Sully and then the guy from fucking
Flight,
yeah.
Like one guy's coked out, and
Denzel and Tom Hanks in the ultimate power move as pilots.
Dude, Denzel can save any movie. So can Tom Hanks. Like they can at least make it watchable.
Sully was pretty boring.
Yeah, but Tom Hanks is at least pretty decent.
No, he's good. He's always good.
He's also a pedophile. I don't know.
He's also ran away to Greece, where they call that mental illness.
We'll see. The Durham report comes out, and it's just an investigation on all the Epstein shit, and it would just be like, "Oh man, we didn't see this coming, man! Like we got them all, man!" And
then Trey Gowdy came out and said that he didn't think that there was any more indictments coming.
Well, I mean, there might not be. I don't think this is, but this could make Trump run for a third presidency because there is a speculation from constitutional lawyers being like,
oh, dude.
Hey, like, technically, if they try to manipulate in such a way the campaign, like it wasn't a free and fair election. Like it wasn't a free and fair election.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he still won.
Yeah. But that's not the point. It doesn't matter if he won.
Well, no, those people should go to jail.
Yeah. But then we let Donnie run for a third term. I'm not saying I want a dictator. Okay. I'm not saying I want a king. It might be time to crown.
It might be time. Listen, we've tried this democracy stuff. It's been fun.
Just like you just see like the next morning after he wins his third presidency, you see like a couple cranes with like Trump, like the Trump sign, like coming up over the White House.
Yeah, they just start. You just see the beginnings of scaffolding. He's going to build a high rise right in the White House. He's going to turn it into a skyscraper.
Yep.
My buildings are so tall, so fucking tall.
We should at least another floor.
Maybe
Below or above?
maybe 100 floors.
I don't know, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for this election. I'm excited for cinema to be dead. I'm excited for the revolution that will be suppressed through these far left extremists. And honestly, though, if everyone hasn't been paying attention, which you probably haven't, the protests in Portland are dying down since they federalized the state police. Like,
Well, it's also there's massive wildfires. Excuse me, massive wildfires.
and they have
massive.
at least one guy that's associated with Antifa and BLM to have actually started. That's a fact now.
Is it a fact?
Yeah, it's
I mean,
a fact.
because I'm looking at a picture of Happy Valley in Oregon, and it is scorched. I mean, it's fucking scorched earth.
Yeah.
These fires are serious.
And it comes down to forest management. What the
Dude,
fuck?
There was people out camping in California.
No, I know.
And the Park Service said jump in the lake.
Yeah.
And then those guys, the rescue teams, actually said, no, fuck it, we're going to go in and get these people. And they did.
Well, they come like another day because it was so bad where they were at. They couldn't see. They couldn't fly in because of the smoke.
I know. Well, but they still went in adverse conditions, dude. But imagine being those people. Like, you went up to camp for the weekend, and then the fucking Park Services is like, are you near a body of water?
There's a dude in a
like, holy shit.
There's a dude in a Sasquatch uniform, just
dude, that would be
like,
the time.
Like just trying to light a fire, just like Sasquatch did it, dude. He literally. This is the climate changing, and the animal Sasquatch, who's intelligent, said, "We ain't taking your shit no more. We're lighting the world on flame." With a Bane mask. Sick.
Bane comes down out of the flames.
Oh, you sure? Oh.
It's pretty wild, man. Like, seeing all the pictures has been pretty crazy.
Yeah, this is why you don't live out there.
It was a few years ago too, when they had all those crazy pictures, and then they had the one that they changed the highway signs like entering 2019 or whatever it was, and it was like looked like Mordor.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's weird that we're having all these, dude. Like, then again, dude, another conspiracy theory before we end the show. I got to bring it up, like the weather shit, the weather machine, like that can create like atmospheric disturbances and like pump like humidity.
Are you talking about HARP?
Yeah, HARP. Yeah,
up in Alaska. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get Bill on the case.
Get Bill on the case. But I don't know. We'll see, dude.
Well, wasn't another exciting episode in the books? Another exciting episode in the books. All right, everybody. I think we're done. I think we're done. I think we're done. We've cashed out the week. It's been exciting. It was so happy. I was so glad that everybody could make it this week. Really meant a lot. Hopefully, next week it'll be our year anniversary.
Is it next week?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. 1 year of Zoobox.
1 year, and we've we've grown a lot in the past month and a half, and it's good. I think we're in for the future. I think it's gonna be fun. As long as we can not have the authoritarian, Google and YouTube fucking ban us.
Yeah,
you hear us.
They'll get us at some point. That's okay. Then see, but that's when you strike with the Patreon. And then when you get kicked off Patreon, you go to Subscribestar. When you get kicked off Subscribestar, you go to New Project 2.
Oh, all of them. Till Discover finds out and cancels their fucking... So people can't give you money. Like they did with that fucking Kyle Rittenhouse kid. Like the
yeah. I know. Yeah, it's okay to, like, a potential alleged rapist. He can raise $2 million, but, whatever. We've talked about this before, I think. All right, everybody. You have a great rest of your week. I know you're going to listen. Oh, you got to start off your week well. I'm sure somebody listens to Sunday, Monday. Listen. Hey, you're welcome. See you next week. Goodbye.
When the sun comes shining through to make those rainbows in my mind when I think of you sometime, and I want to spend some time with you. Just the two of us.